to have a thing where it's like stays, isn't it? Anancy and Mr. Dry Bone by Fiona French. Mr. Drybone lived in a big house on top of a hill. He was very rich and he wanted to marry Miss Louise. Anancy lived in a small house at the foot of the hill. He was very poor and he also wanted to marry Miss Louise. So Nancy? Oh wow. Miss Louise lived on the other side of the hill. She wasn't rich, she wasn't poor. She was very clever and very beautiful. But Miss Louise had never laughed her whole life. So the first man who could make her laugh, that is the one that she would marry. Mr. Drybone knocked on Miss Louise's door. He was all dressed up in his very best clothes. Good evening, he said. I brought all my powerful conjuring tricks and I am going to make you laugh. Well, Miss Louise said, this I've got to see. Mr. Drybone turned himself into a bat that flapped and a cat that spat. He turned himself into a pig that honked and a rabbit that did nothing. But Miss Louise, she never smiled. Mr. Drybone turned somersaults and cartwheels and stood upside down and on the ceiling, but still Miss Louise never smiled. And Nancy said to himself, I can do better than that. And Nancy went to a tiger and said, lend me your best evening suit. I'm going to visit Miss Louise. Tiger said, my evening suit is at the cleaners right now, but you can borrow my jogging suit. Wow, go back, look at the colours. And Nancy went to see a dog. Lend me your top hat. I'm going to visit Miss Louise. Dog said, that top hat got crushed the other day, but you can borrow my hunting hat. And Nancy went to the alligator. Lend me your shiny black evening shoes. I'm going to visit Miss Louise. They got soaked in a dance last night, mumbled the alligator. But you can borrow my other ones. Monkey swung through the trees and called to Nancy, you'll need a tie when you visit Miss Louise. Parrot squawked and dropped some feathers. Put these in your hunting hat, Anancy. They look real good when you visit Miss Louise. Wow, look at that. Anancy knocked on the door. I've come to show you how much better conjuring tricks than Mr. Drybone. Miss Louise took one look at Anancy as she began to laugh. She laughed and laughed until tears rolled down her face. Oh, Nancy, that is the weirdest get-up I ever did see. Everyone laughed, even Mr. Drybone. Okay, you win, he said. So, Anancy married Miss Louise, and they all lived happily ever after. The end.